Kyla in spring is quite the combo. Just watch out, world.
Love it so much. It's kind of now that we're older, there's this knowing. I know I can do hard things. I just don't want to. Hey, come on over to this side. I got a glass of champagne and waiting for you right here. That's what you're doing. I'm like, I'm trying to get there.
I'm shucking it.
If that was real and you're an angel, thumbs up now.
Welcome back to Living Magic. We are your hosts, Catherine Middlebrooks and
Kyla Jenkinson.
Yes. And today on our episode, we are going to talk about things that can help you make decisions, because decisions are hard.
Well, big decisions are hard, and sometimes little decisions are hard. So I think this is going to be a great topic. But before we do that, let's raise our vibration and lower our expectation, but the other way around. Lower your expectation and raise your vibration. Lower it down.
Lower the expectations.
Lower the expectation.
We are here.
Raise the vibration.
We show up. Our goal is some joy. Spread some joy.
Embrace the magic of the mundane.
And don't expect anything more from us, please. Thank you.
Again, with the lower expectations. But we're going to go ahead and enter the vortex. Catherine, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm loving the looks today. I could totally go out into the universe forever like this and be like, rock and roll. Where are we headed? Vegas, baby?
Because you have normal glasses on.
I know, but I love them. Look, they're not totally normal.
No, they're perfect. They're styling. Okay.
And you have hearts, again, with the hearts and loving life, first of all. You know, a lot of people love the heart glasses. I see that out and about at festivals and stuff, and they look good on you. And for some reason, they're not my favorite for me. But I have like 3 pairs of them.
You can't have every glass look great on you. You have like 80% of the glasses look really great on you. Can I have one that doesn't make me look like a
I think you can. And I like them on you. And I like them off you, like on by themselves. I don't like them on me.
Right.
It doesn't work on me. It's like Valentine's Day forever or something. I don't know. It's not right.
It's too sweet for you.
It's way too sweet for me, but your little heavenly personality deserves to wear those. Yours can rock them. Mine is like, yeah, no,
like,
not with
that's
us.
A joke. What are you doing?
And I love a heart. I love a heart. Like I like heart necklaces. I like heart rocks.
I just not glasses.
Just can't wear them. Just can't wear them.
That's fair.
Okay, let's move on to talking about hearts on our eyes.
Just slightly recovering from the flu. There's so many episodes that I listen to where we're like, well, here we are. We showed up again. It's been a rough week. Like, I think
haggard, tired, and totally magic. So put that in your back pocket and pull it out.
I think now, especially that I'm editing these and it's winter in a new year, and I'm editing things from the fall of last year where we were both deep in some stuff. It is actually really nice to listen to it because I recognize that we've moved from where we were to a different place, and every day that we're waking up doesn't feel like a battle anymore. So that's good.
Yeah, that might be the point of doing this whole thing is like, look, this too shall pass. It's that whole idea that is really hard to embrace that concept when you are lifing day to day, moment to moment. This too shall pass in good ways and bad ways, right?
Yeah.
But it's nice to have the reminder, like that part that you really didn't like, passed.
You're not in that anymore. I know.
You survived that.
And you don't often look back at that. Sometimes you do, but you don't often look back and actually hear yourself talking about it in that moment, because that's what the benefit of editing it is. I'm like, oh, we were
in
low.
A dark place.
We were really, really low. So even though I'm recovering from the flu, I am in a great place and the sun is shining and life is magical. So
life is magical also because, and we're going to probably talk about this for the next 10 to 15 weeks, It's almost spring because it's February,
It's coming. It is
because the
coming.
January year ended and now it's February.
The, the year of January. Yes. And Kyla in spring is quite the
I,
combo. Just
I
watch out,
just
world.
love it so much.
Watch out, world. She's coming.
And I can feel it, and my dog can feel it. Like everybody's like, it's the tricky part though, if you're from Colorado, where it's like, hey, it's February and it's really nice outside. It's almost 70, and the bees start,
I
thinking, oh,
know.
I should come out. And then next week it will dump snow and it will feel like Christmas.
I know.
And we will all go back into hibernation where we get angry
But only for a short period.
for a short time, and then it will melt off and we'll remember it's spring. But that is spring, it's like you're excited, you're depressed, you're excited, you burn out, you're excited.
Like, I'm out. Oh, wait, no, I'm in. I'm
I'm
out
in.
again. Yeah,
It's totally like turtling. It's a
it
turtling
is.
process.
What's happening out there? Oh, oh,
Yeah.
exciting. So let's talk about making decisions because there's a few little tips that we have that I do think help. And I have been using one of them that I'll talk about. And I have also recommended it to I have a story from somebody else somebody who asked me a question, was having a really hard time with something. And I gave her this advice and immediately she had a clear answer. So should I
Oh,
go into it?
I feel like, yeah, you should.
Okay.
But, and I just have to say one thing.
Yeah.
When you were talking about that, the
What?
first thing I thought was, I too have a tool. Her name is Catherine Middlebrooks.
I am the tool.
What decision should I do with this scenario? As I call you 9 times a day. I have a new scenario. Just FYI.
I'm happy to
Anyway,
be your
use
tool.
your tools. Share the tools because they're important.
Use your tools. Okay, so this I think very helpful for big decisions, things that do feel like they're very important and you're feeling stuck. The trick is rather than try to answer the question of what should I do with your head, you want to drop into your soul and ask your soul, what does it feel about this? So let me give the example. So I have a friend who reached out to me. She was mentoring this person, and the person was triggering a lot for her. Just this sense of they're not listening to what I'm saying. They are not doing things that I told them that they need to do, all of this stuff. And she was saying, I just feel like I want to be done with this person. I don't want to do this anymore. It feels too hard. It's bringing up too much for me, but I don't know if that's the right idea. And so I said, yeah, that's hard. Go into your soul and ask, does your soul feel done with this person? Has your soul and this person's soul fulfilled their contract? You both can move on, or is there more work to do? And she had been really spinning on a hamster wheel with this. And then I said that to her and she came back immediately. This was over Voxer. So she sent me a voice message. And she said, the moment I did that, I knew we're not done. We're not done. There's
Ah,
more to do. And then it was so clear. And now it's like, okay, great. You know you're not done with this person. You know your soul still has more to work through. Also, I think if somebody is triggering you, that probably is an indication that there is more to do. But once she knew that, then she was willing to do the work and willing to put more effort in. And personally, I have had, as in any marriage, there are moments where you are like, I think I'm done. This is too hard. And when I ask my soul that question, am I really done? The answer is always no. You've worked through so much. You're like still working through things. This relationship is still important for the growth of your soul. And then it's like, oh, okay. You can stop being up in your head about like, oh, this person did this. And you can just be like, okay, my soul's still in it. Now let me do the work. And I love that.
I love that.
It's a clarity that I feel like you don't get if you're just thinking through something in your head.
Okay, we're done. That was a great episode. You got the tool.
The end.
Be your best self. Go on and
Okay.
be your best self. Apply it.
So I think that that's really good, especially when you're dealing with people. I think probably you can ask that if you're, if you're trying to, if you're in a work situation and trying to figure out, am I done with this job? Am I done with this home? I think about when I moved from Durango to Pittsburgh, my soul felt like, okay, I don't really want to go, but it does feel like it's time to go. So, but there's other things you can do too, like, is this in alignment?
Yes. I think the thing that you reminded me that is helpful for me that I was also taught by another friend many years ago was identifying your core values, which we did in a separate episode. We talked about that. And then making the decision is this in alignment with my core values,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, let's go back to those four core values or however many you selected. I think it's three actually, like your top three, but whatever, top three or four. Does this serve the purpose of, is this in alignment with my core values? Am I serving these core values? Then that also helps with, okay, well, it's going to weight it one way or another. And it just gives you more information to make tough decisions.
Yeah, it's like a framework that you can work from. You're like,
Yeah.
we were saying yesterday, because we were both talking about where we feel like we are in life right now and how that feels, like the river analogies that we were using. Do we want to talk about that a little bit? Because this is it's fine to say, oh, yeah, use this tool. And also, the reality is, we're we both feel sort of like we're in a weird moment in time in our lives where we are making big decisions and also really unclear about what we want to do to move forward. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think even just to give a little context, there's a lot changing in my life that has been in like a 10-year pattern of this is what I do every day, or, like it's predictable-ish. And to big changes, like I just moved my dad from the house living right next door to me to closer into town. So now he's 30 minutes away. That shift was like we were just in a comfortable place, even though can be frustrating at times. It was like a comfortable knowing. And now it's different. And so that change has been different for both of us. And I didn't think I was going to struggle with it as much earlier before it happened. It was like, oh, these are things I'm going to start missing. So now I can like let go of being frustrated with these other things. And then it got to be to an easy point. And then the move happened like 6 months after it was predicted. Yeah. And then, like, I guess that timing kind of worked out okay, actually, because it hasn't snowed. And so anyway, for whatever reason, that timing worked out just fine. But then he literally just moved a couple days ago, like moved. And I remember just our houses are far enough away that you can't like necessarily see them from the windows, but close enough that you can walk like 150 feet and be at the front door. And so kind of always looking over my shoulder, like I'm about to get out of the shower. Do I need to make sure I have a towel on? Is my dad just right out the window? Like checking that, like looking, like I just realized how constantly I was checking to make sure that I'm not going to be inappropriately dressed in my own house. And I was like, oh, that was a lot of energy. Anyway, so that was a big shift of energy. So my analogy for you was, I feel like as though even though I'm making some decisions about changes, the change is just pushing me down the river. Like we're gonna give you a paddle and you can try to avoid the rocks, but it's at a flow and it's pace. Like we're moving you in a direction whether you want to go in that direction or not. I mean, you have some choice to avoid some of these barriers,
And there's
but really
boulders
you're going
everywhere.
downstream. You're going
Yeah.
downstream.
Yeah.
And maybe I put this into your head, but I was like, do you feel like you're kind of at like a eddy or like a calm part of the water where you're not moving real fast?
Hmm.
And that was kind of more like, you're like, I'm on the shore just watching the river go by. Like, I don't feel like
Like, go
yeah,
ahead, see you downstream. I'll walk down there. Yeah. And I do think part of that probably is, well, because I moved everything, and it's almost been 2 years that we've been here, which is crazy. But there was all of this movement and this sort of the universe telling me to bring everybody here and getting here and then starting to establish life here. But then there was very much this real sense of, okay, I did it, universe, I'm here. Now what? Now what do I do? And what I was saying to you is that it feels almost like now the universe is like, now you have to figure it out. Like, we've given you the signs, we got you to the place where you needed to be, and now you have to make some choices and decide exactly what river you want to jump in. Which direction is the river going? So yeah, for me, it feels like I'm just sort of in this limbo state, sitting on the side of the river when I want to be. I want the universe to pick me up and put me in the correct river. I want them to be like, this is the river that you go in, go ahead. And they're not doing that because I think they're like, you've got to pick your river to be in.
That kind of makes sense. I also feel like you talked a little bit about purpose. Like I need to figure out what my purpose is in this life, and I also want to be a sloth.
So badly. But I don't. But
But
that's
you
like
don't.
the other thing that we were talking about too is like these decisions that you make. It's so tempting to take the easy route, the river that is really calm and gentle. That is so
Yeah.
tempting,
The
you know?
lazy river
The lazy river that's the perfect temperature with no boulders.
and a nice cocktail.
Yeah, exactly. In my tube that I'm riding down in. And yet you know that all the things that really are like worth it at the end of your life and it are those challenging things that you've chosen. So you know that really what the choices you need to be making are the ones that are the little bit more tumultuous river because it shakes everything up and it allows you to grow and face hard things. But it's just really interesting that it feels like my soul, when I like check in with my soul is very, it's two-sided. It's like, yes, do the hard things. You're here for a reason. And please rest and just take it easy and don't do too much.
Okay, and then what we talked about along those notes, which pulls me back into my high school coach who just made the wall of fame in my high school. And he is my person who is in the back of my head when I have to do hard things in life. And I'm talking about hard things like you are summoning a 14er with a 60-pound pack on and blisters all over your feet, and it's raining and you're miserable. That's who is in my head. Because in those youthful years, he proved to not just me, but many of the athletes that he coached, you can do hard things. And here's how. And because we were kids, we did what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But it was great because we really did push ourselves to a breaking point
Yeah.
and then recovered and got on with whatever the next thing was, which I think is life. That is a life tool. That you can do these hard things. It is going to push you to a point where you think you're going to break. You might even break a little bit, but you're going to recover and you're going to get on with it. And it's kind of now that we're older, there's this knowing. I know I can do hard things. I just don't want to.
But they're hard. And do I have to?
Right?
Yeah.
So then there's this avoidance factor of, I know I can do that. It feels discomfort. And I think we talked about, well, we both feel like this is not our first walk on the planet in a human suit. So maybe the past lives that comes with us that we may or may not know about or recognize exactly what they were, it does feel like there was a lot of those that were challenging and difficult.
So hard.
And now we've arrived in probably one of the most easy ones that we've experienced so far. And we get to choose a little bit more about our comforts. And it's hard to choose to do hard things when you can choose comfort.
The comforts are intoxicating. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that probably is where then really checking in with your soul, because I do think as much as my soul also does love a little slothing, it's always stepped up to a challenge when one has presented itself as like, this, do this. This is your next step. And it's sell everything you own, get in an RV. Like, okay, all right, I could do that. Um, yeah. And so that tool of check in with that deeper part of yourself, because that is the part that knows your bigger plan here on this earth.
And it is nicer. I mean, there's something nice to the idea of being in the river where I'm at right now, where it's like, we're going to keep presenting issues for you to solve. And there's one, here's another, here's another, here's another. So it's not really a slow pace. It's like, you can do this, you can do hard things, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. You're tired, you got it, you got it, you got it, you do
Yeah.
this. But here's another thing and another thing, because you have to get all of this done.
Right.
Because if we don't move you, you might not move.
Right.
That's what the
Exactly.
universe is telling me. Oh, there is a plan, there is a purpose. We're going to continue to give you these challenges, just regular life challenges, but intensely back out, back to back. And I believe it's to get to this next place and that we wouldn't do them. We wouldn't make this big change in our lives if we weren't constantly being bombarded with,
Yeah.
here's your next thing. Here's your
If
next
it
thing. Oh, you don't like that? Well, you have to change something. Here's your next thing.
if
You
it were
know,
more
so,
comfortable, even.
right. If we, exactly, we probably wouldn't even be, I mean, on so many levels. If there was some ease to living right next to my dad, we probably, if he could easily navigate that house, it would be the same. It would continue to be the same if there's comfort. So there's this
Yes.
upheaval because change needs to be made. And that's where the growth part is.
Yes.
So going back to where you're at, I think that you've had a lot of big upheaval and a lot of big change, and now you're kind of at the valley or the field of the rolling hills of life. I think you're at a calm place, so that it's kind of that. Oh well, I don't mind this.
But thinking about that in that way too, where it's like, okay, the universe, like in your case, the universe is creating discomfort to get you moving. And I definitely had that before we moved here too. And now, right now in this moment, it doesn't feel like the universe is throwing discomfort at me. The universe is actually like, hey, look at all these good things in your life and look at the ease that now you can have in your days. And there's a part of me that, as we're talking about this, is thinking, oh, well, maybe that's by design too. Like, I really had to push and do all of this stuff to get us here. And now there is this pause where when I check in with my soul, as I was telling you yesterday, what my soul wants to do is ground down in a plot of land and steward some area of the earth for a little while. And that feels very real to me. That feels like a really important thing to do for my soul. And that also makes sense because my soul has taken me all over the place for the past 20 years, and I've never really rooted myself anywhere. And so I think maybe trusting also that when it is a little bit more comfortable and you start feeling restless about it, maybe you don't have to feel so restless. Maybe it's like not like, oh, well, where's the next discomfort? Where's the next challenge that I have to face? And instead, like, okay, I went through that challenge and now I can settle in to this new place and this new phase that I'm in. And when the next time comes for my next leap forward, the universe will show me by making things a little more tense or uncomfortable,
Hmm.
you
I
know?
like this because, see, this is good that we can be in different phases of a
Mm-hmm.
life
Mm-hmm.
scenario because then we can back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's
Yeah.
my thought around that, what you just said, which is you are kind of where we're all trying to get. Like, let's get to something more comfortable. But I think we're so used to
Not used to it at all.
like the ice about to crack. or whatever. We're used to anticipating the next thing that's going to need to be resolved. Maybe we don't spend time recognizing, hey, you saw good right
Right.
here.
Like you could actually just sit on the side of the river for a minute, catch your breath,
Have a picnic,
enjoy the scenery.
pour
Yeah.
some champagne.
Have a glass of wine and a nice sandwich, and then rest yourself up so that when you then see another river where you're like, ooh, that one, you're like, yeah, hop in.
Hop in. Let's move.
That feels so much better to think about
Totally.
it that way. And it goes back to what I was talking about in some other episode. I don't even know which one it was, but where I was saying in those craniosacral therapy sessions, that practitioner said to me, it's just this sense that your body is looking for what's wrong and what if it could all be okay. And it's like, oh, I guess maybe that really is my river right now. It's just this like very calm river that I'm just sitting on the edge of for a moment.
I wonder too if this is a great time to do body work for other people.
Yes, for sure, because I finally am at a place where my own energy is more grounded and centered and chill.
Hmm.
And that is an interesting perspective too to think about. I've spent so much time managing my own life and paying attention to what my soul is doing and what my family dynamic is. And now it's like, okay, that's all calm. So now how can I serve other people's souls with this calm soul?
Yes, and that goes back to this concept, which I'm sure we've talked about before, which is if everybody could just take care of the 3 feet around them, the whole world would be fine. You take care of your own 3 feet. Once you got that down, if you can extend that out to 6 feet and help other people that maybe need some assistance, and you can hold space for that 6 feet, then you can expand out. You can go to 9 feet, but it all comes back to that 3 feet around you. If you can have that dialed, then you have room to take on some other stuff.
Right.
And it's a lot just to take care of that 3 feet around yourself, and ours has to be expanded as parents
Right.
to our littles because they need help still, to our little people.
Yeah. And I think that also that perspective is very helpful too in terms of giving yourself grace when you are in the very busy river that's flowing downstream, like where you are right now. Because for you who are in this very tumultuous moment where the river is forcing you downstream, it makes sense that you feel overwhelmed by all the other things that you need to do because that 3 feet that you're managing is on the move and avoiding obstacles and doing all this stuff. So then it's like you can give yourself a little bit more grace to be like, oh, right, of course, all of the other demands of my life feel like a lot to me right now because this 3 feet is turning.
Totally. And I've had a little bit of I'm going to say guilt, but I really don't love that word, but a little bit of disappointment that I haven't been able to show up for some people who are also in a fast moving river, some friends of mine that have lost parents or that are just struggling with stuff. And it kind of just feels like we're in these separate boats going down a really wide river. And I'm like, ahoy! I can't get to you, but I understand that you are also on a fast moving boat
Yes.
with one paddle and your paddle's broken and you're running into rocks, but I also need my paddle, so I cannot lend you mine for now.
It makes sense when you think of it that way. And you will get to a point where you also get on the side of the river and
Lend out paddles.
have a picnic.
Have a picnic. Hey, come on over to this side. I got a glass of champagne and waiting for you right here. That's what you're doing. I'm like, I'm trying to get there.
I'm chucking it.
I'm kind of years away from you, but I'm trying.
I just throw you champagne from the river edge. Like,
Yeah.
here, enjoy
Have a
it.
whole bottle. Don't let it hit you in the head on the way over.
I think that
Sums it up.
sums it up. I think that's about it. So I have some magic to share from this week.
So do I. What
It's
are
the
you going to talk
same
about?
one.
Okay, you tell it. It's so funny.
We were on a phone call that was not going well. Your service sucked,
Crap.
basically. So we were on the phone, we were talking, and I could not hear anything you were saying. So you called me back like 3 times, and I just kept being like, this isn't working. So then you FaceTimed me. And I think at the beginning of the FaceTime, which for whatever reason worked better than the actual phone call, you said, I think I need to sage my house again
I
because
did say that.
weird stuff was happening. So then we're on FaceTime. We're talking about this sort of thing, deep, deep thoughts that we were having. I was throwing out real good advice left and right.
You
And
were.
then all of a sudden, a thumbs up just goes up on the FaceTime. And I was like, why did you thumbs up that? Why didn't you just say, yeah, you're right? And you were like, I didn't. I
I was
did
like, my
not.
hands are here. I'm doing my makeup or whatever I was doing. I was like, I'm not even touching my phone.
Oh, and we were like, what did we just say? And it happened again. It happened 2 times that a random thumbs up just popped up during our conversation. Like the angels being like, yes, remember that.
Right. And one of them was I was feeling disconnected from my purpose, which is to bring joy to this human experience. I'm pretty sure that's my purpose. I'm going to call it my purpose anyway. It's one of my purposes, Catherine,
One of many.
but I'm feeling very disconnected from that. I'm just like, you got work to do. You got shit to get done. There is not time for joy. And Crystal, my spirit, is like, I hate being in your hands soon. So you were saying, no, I think you really do. I don't know exactly, but essentially it was like, that is your purpose. That's when the thumbs up came, like,
That's right.
yes.
I was like, you have to go through these changes. You have to be in this right now. You have to go through these changes so that you have the capacity to bring joy to the world. And it was like, yep, thumbs up straight up
Dear,
the
dear,
screen.
dear, dear, dear.
And then we were like, how do you even do that? I don't even know how you do
No, I
that
could not figure out how
on
to thumbs up
FaceTime.
on my own just because I chose it. No. And then there was another one after that. That was so funny. And then we were trying to get it to thumbs up, and it was like, no.
I know. Then I was like, okay, give us a thumbs up right now. And then, of course, because I was desperate wanting it, it was like, not
No,
gonna
just get the
do it.
two, just the two. Again with the signs. Like, if you can't trust the signs, you're bad, but it was pretty obvious because I thumbs up you.
2 times, specifically at very important points of the conversation. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but can you just let me do it again. I need it
If
one more
that was
time.
real and you're an angel, thumbs up now. I was like, I don't think they work that way.
You were like, they purposefully don't work that way because they also want to have fun. So they're like,
Yeah,
it's
no.
not what we
We were
do.
obvious, and if that wasn't obvious enough to you, too bad.
I know.
That's essentially what they say.
We're not on demand. We do this when we want to do it.
Yeah,
Is there anything else that we want to share? I think that was,
yeah, I
oh,
do.
okay, great. What?
Hitch your wagon to a rainbow.
Hitch your wagon to a rainbow. Did you listen to the episode that I released today? You randomly throw out and get busy with it. And I was like, what? When did we use that one? And you're like, I don't know. There's just a lot of taglines. So I was like, okay, we'll say lower your expectations, raise your vibrations at the beginning. We'll say hitch your wagon to a rainbow at the end, and we'll just throw get busy with it in the middle somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hitch that wagon to a rainbow. Check in with your soul. Everything's going to be okay. I'll meet you on the side of the river whenever you get here.
Whoop.